Welcome back, Commanders. It is I, Architect, once again, and we are back for Legend of the Stars Qualifying Tournament number 1 for 2018. Oh, this is exciting. Exciting stuff indeed. And I've even busted out the old UEF uniform, just so you know that I know what I'm talking about, because that always helps. Alright, so Legend of the Stars. Once again, we've had 2 previous year's Grand Championships, and we're in for a third. This is sponsored by Legend of the Stars. He puts in $500 dues. That is a fantastic top-level prize, and it means all of these great players come out of the woodwork. They start competing. They start getting back into the game at this time of year. And, well, if we don't get ourselves in for some top-level action, we will be very, very disappointed. So we're starting off with the first qualifying tournament. The way that this works is there are 4 qualifying tournaments. Each one of them yields 3 top players to secure a spot in that grand final. And then at the end of the year, and I think this year it is just sneaking in on the 29th of December, they will all battle it out for the grand prize of $500 dues. That's because they are Australian dollars, and also a fancy pants trophy as well for the winner. It is all very competitive, very good for getting a lot of Supreme Commander action. So if you are ready, I am ready. Let's have a look at the draw that we've got today. We are looking at, a decent chunk of players. There's enough that we are going to have to run a couple of initial rounds. So we can see we've got Johnice227 taking on Blodir. We have got Nexus taking on Evan, and Squall taking on Zlo. And that's going to give us a few winners to head through into that next round to play against Turin Taramba. Yudi versus Morax, Platinumizer versus Blast Chilled, Mad Mozart, Inspector Cot, Mephi, Heaven, Mountain, Thomas Hired, Bulldozer, and Esperanto. So we've got a few heavyweights already on the list, and we can expect more for the next qualifier tournament as well. So, without any further ado, we're going to jump into our first match of the tournament, and that is going to be Blodir taking on Johnice227. Alright, I don't think the seeding is quite set up for this, so it might not be a completely fair match. However, we're going to go and have a look at it anyway. And here we go. Let us resume the match and get it underway. So we have got Johnice227, by the look of it, starting down here in the bottom left corner. He's going to opt for Cybran this time around. He's going to grab adjacency on that first factory. And then it looks like a single power generator before filling out those other mixes there in his initial build order and getting out to the Hydro. That Hydro, of course, critically important on a teeny tiny map such as Theta Passage. These guys want to get the most efficient power setup possible, and the Hydro is one way to do that. So we've got Obfuscation, also known as Blodir. Quite ironic that he has changed his name to Obfuscation. But in any case, he is also going Cybran, and we are looking at a very, very similar kind of build here. We've got a Cybran player throwing down adjacent mix factory right there that is starting to pump out engineers. We have a single power generator, and then the ACU is going to go and fill out a few more of those mass extractors while the engineers get out and busy and get their build order underway. And what is this? This is land for Blodir. So he is definitely going to be spamming very, very hard, but he will need a little bit more power as well. We can see there's a few of those queued up in between the factories there. 3 more Tech 1 power gens, and those guys will hopefully balance it out just enough for Blodir to continue his spam. What is the plan for Johnice? Well, he is going for adjacency on that Hydro, so it will mean that there's a bit more energy efficiency for those factories, but he's only got the 2 factories queued up so far, and if he doesn't get a few more underway, he won't be able to compete with that spam output that Blodir, or Obfuscation, will be sending his way. But we do have a Mantis and a Mole pair out as well now for Johnice. Let's see if those are going to be defensive or if he's going to go on a raid. It looks like he's going to sit them right in the middle there just to try and ward off any pesky raiding units that come out after the engineers. Of course, these early engineers pretty important in terms of making sure your mass coffers are full. There are little maps, little rocks on this map, I should say, that do need to be reclaimed for you to have a good starting build order. and if you lose those to raiding parties, well, that is not going to be the highlight of your day. So we can see Blodir is taking a slightly more offensive approach. He's going to come down here through this little pass in the cliff face here. We can just see the Mantis making its way towards it, and he's going to head across to the left to try and intercept a couple of engineers, and well, it does look like that Johnice does have one out here that would easily be picked off. He does have a scout rolling in, so that will give him a bit of radar coverage, and he may possibly, if he is onto it, be able to spot that on his radar and get the engineer to safety. But I'm not sure he's got anything to respond with. Well, he's got a Mantis sitting back here. It really should be put to better use, being out on the front line. In fact, the Mole running almost smack into that Mantis. He does see at the very last second and diverts it, but it looks like it will be chased down and dismantled. Well, no, he is actually going to give up the chase there. Blodir opting to return a little further back with that Mantis to try and get a bit of security and maybe try and pick up the engineer that he knows is coming, but Johnice is responding by throwing a couple of Mantis down that way, and they will hopefully for him be able to head off Blodir's little raiding party that way. Blodir moving the rest of his Mantis across to the top left here. This is a good move from him because it means that he's going to secure these extra couple of mass extractors up there, and 2 extra mass extractors there and 2 out in front. If he can secure all of those, that's another couple of factories that he can run at full capacity, outputting Mantis, and that's going to help his spam game. And this game is going to be full of spam because it is a teeny tiny 5-kilometer map, and we will see probably a lot of ACU versus ACU action and a lot of spam. Interestingly though, Johnice deciding to mix it up a bit here. He has got artillery in the mix along with his Mantis, and he also has some anti-air. Now those anti-air, unfortunately, just a complete waste of build power right now because there is no air coming from Blodir, and he didn't bother to check before he started building those if he really should. So that just means there's a few bits of cannon fodder mixed in with his army that are going to provide exactly 0 DPS and not help him at all. Alright, the ACU is starting to hit each other now. They are coming into range, trying to fend each other off to pull up as much of this reclaim in the center as possible. I'm not sure that there's really too much worth it, but the fighting starting to happen over here on the left, and Blodir is thinking at the moment there are enough Mantis in that mix there from Johnice to make him think twice about it. He's going to want to get a few more Mantis, and we can see the swarm coming across from the right. If he can get all of those together, he will have the numbers, but we still have the factories down here producing for Johnice. He's still sitting on 4 and just building a 5th factory there, and this one back here building units for combat as well. So that is not on engineering duty. Let's see how that compares to Blodir. He has pretty much exactly the same setup, but he actually is not underway yet with a 5th factory down the front, and it will be an air factory. No, the 6th will be an air factory, but he's just stopping, giving a bit of a pause to get a bit more power up and running first. Now Johnice very, very far forward with that ACU at this point. Hits from those units from Blodir. He will come in to try and aid that ACU, and that will save him for a short time, but it looks like he's going to very quickly run out of steam, and Blodir will soon have enough to smash his way through those front lines, surround the ACU and get under his feet. And once that happens, ACU not able to escape, not able to maneuver as you would want, and that will spell the end of it. How are the 8? We have got 4,400 on Johnice, but Blodir still up at 6,600. Those Cybran ACUs, not the most tanky things in the first place, but when you are both the same faction, it makes absolutely no difference. And what is this? There's a point defense down here. I think that may be a bit of a waste of resources given all the action is happening up here. But what do we see? We see a pretty good reclaim field here. This could allow Johnice to get a slight upper hand. Well, it would be if he didn't have exactly 0 power in the bank, which is what he's got right now. He desperately needs to get a few more power generators up and running. We can see he's got a line down the bottom here. He will try and recover with that, but it will take him some time to get that mass bar full. Meanwhile, Blodir sitting on a full bar of 4k mass. He even may be able to think about grabbing a power storage and giving himself the ability to overcharge, which would be very, very handy at this point with all this T1 spam around. If he can blast those guys to oblivion, it will quickly decimate the numbers there for Johnice. Johnice still being very confident with that ACU, but it is smoking away. It is on fire. I'm not sure if I would be as confident as he is with the 4100 HP. And we do have some air inbound now, so Blodir managing to finish that air factory, and one of the first units he pops out is a bomber, because we can see that cruising around making nuisances of himself. How did Johnice manage to get a mech all the way in here? Anyway, Blodir will just get rid of that with an engineer and send the bomber off to more fruitful pastures, and that is probably going to be these power gens down here. They would be a very, very juicy target, and if Blodir can angle the right way, grab a whole lot of damage on a whole lot of power gens at once, well, that could cripple Johnice's power situation. He is still 60 per tick behind Blodir, but he has managed to recover that power stall reasonably well. The only problem that Johnice really has now, if we look up at the score, we have got a lot of unspent mass. Johnice really needs to convert that into mantis or manti, depending on the plural of that, and do some damage. The ACU just having to back up a little bit here. He is really badly damaged. You can see the amount of flames and smoke coming off that thing, but he has absolutely no choice. He's going to have to head back into the fray, even though this could be the end of him, and he really doesn't want to back his units away and take all the fire with that badly damaged ACU. He's very quickly dropping down. He is down into the red, and unfortunately, poor unit placement there is going to cost him this match, because he is just about dead, although it is not a complete surprise. If we look at the ratings on these two players, we have got 1200 in Johnice227 versus 2000 in Obfuscation. Somehow he manages to survive though, and now he's sitting at the back of the pack, so he will be able to keep going at least until he runs out of cannon fodder that is trying to get under Blodir's feet right now. But Blodir not really having a bar of that. He is just smashing away those T1 units from Johnice, and he has got plenty of Mantis rolling up in support to finish the job. So that is going to be the end of that. Johnice very much out of options at this point. He will do as much as he can to defend himself. The regen on that ACU not terribly bad though, back over 1000 HP, but considering Blodir is well up over 8k and he has a green health bar, that is not looking too good. Johnice pretty much acknowledging that this is the end of it. He's going to bring that ACU back up, and if that wasn't bad enough that he has been so badly damaged, this massive reclaim field here, which Blodir is just stopping to get a few bits of reclaim from, that is all controlled by Blodir right now. So as if it wasn't bad enough with the eco difference as it was, it's going to be even worse. Johnice going to send the rest of his Mantis in one last ditch attempt, but the way the eco numbers are stacking up, I'm not sure that he is going to be able to continue filling the factory orders for those Mantis. Meanwhile, Blodir just continuing to crank out purple I should say, units, and they are heading across the map. We have got an upgrade, so Johnice deciding to try and go for an upgrade. That is a pretty ballsy move, given he has so little income right now, just 14, 13 mass per tick. Wow, that is terrible, and 9 of it is going into the ACU upgrade right now. He is perfectly balanced, but that means he must have shut off all of these factories or paused them. No, he is still managing to slowly crank them out, but that will be pretty reduced output from those guys. Blodir thinking that he has had enough of this. He's going to bring his ACU in, and why wouldn't he? With so much HP on it, he can afford to spend a few of those to come in and finish it up. So Johnice has cancelled that upgrade, so that is a complete waste of the resources that he have, and this is the death knell. He is now bumping into Blodir's ACU, bumping into all the units. He has got absolutely no pathfinding. Blodir has way plenty of HP to withstand that ACU explosion, and that is the end of that match. So not entirely unexpected, but Johnice227 going down to Obfuscation, the 2000 rated player, who is one of the higher ratings that we are seeing in this tournament. Alright, and there we have the first match of the first round of the first qualifier of Legend of the Stars 2018. 18. Wow. All right, we have got a whole lot more tournaments coming up. There is a big schedule of those posted on the Forged Alliance Forever forums. And, well, we are in for a whole lot of tournament action over the next couple of months. So stay tuned, and we're going to find out what the next match is going to yield in this tournament.